Good evening.
Good evening. Hello.
Evgeny, please introduce yourself.
Yes, I'm Evgeny Bushkov. I'm a musician, violinist, a conductor, and a pedagogue. And I'm here because today my daughter is participating in the gala concert of the Keshet Eilon, and I also served as a faculty member. So for me, it's a great privilege to be among the wonderful musicians and wonderful colleagues here in Israel in Keshet Eilon Masterclass. So I'm looking forward very much to our concert tonight.
Yeah. What motivated you to come?
Well, first of all, I have to say that the invitation of the artistic director of the masterclass, Mr. Rashkovsky, was the main reason why I came, because I joined the faculty and I knew about this masterclass earlier. My daughter, when she was 14, first came to Keshet Eilon, and then we accompanied her as parents, me and my wife. But she was a minor, and now she participates already. She's 18, so she takes part in this masterclass, and I'm privileged to be among the professors.
So you are teaching?
Yeah, I'm teaching violin. Yeah, I'm teaching violin.
During the seminar, how does it go?
Yes.
And what's your impression of the piece?
That goes. This festival has a long story already. This masterclass, because it started, as far as I know, 32 years ago, and it's an exciting place. It's in Kibbutz Eilon, and on the north of Israel, and usually it's about 2 weeks of the masterclass, where different professors, different teachers coming from all over the world, and they change 1 week one group, another week another group. So all kids, all students who come, they have a unique possibility to study with several professors, and all of them are great musicians, great violinists, because it's mainly for string instruments. Not only violin, but also viola and cello these years. But it all started with violin.
So what's the impression, or a special impression that you had this time about the seminar?
Special impression is that the atmosphere is fantastic, because everybody seems to be so lucky to come back after this interruption caused by COVID limitations and quarantines, and of course lockdowns. Of course, there was 1 year when this masterclass didn't take place. It was in 2020, and last year it was only for Israeli musicians. But this one is the first one in 2 years. Again, the masterclass is opening its doors for international group. So everybody's so excited to come back to stage, to get all together, and so on.
Did you meet some special people?
Yes, of course. The faculty consists of great, as I said already, great musicians. Many of them are my good friends, like Ilya Kaller, great violinist. He comes from the United States, and he actually at the moment is the professor of my daughter, who studies in Cleveland, in the Cleveland Institute of Music. His wife, Olga Kaller. Then, of course, Vadim Luzman, who is also a very good friend of mine, and many fantastic musicians, as Chaim Taub, for instance, who knows me for over 30 years already. When I played the Henrik Schenk Foundation Award competition, he was in the jury, and he was the one who supported me a lot. So it was a great meeting. We celebrated together his 97th birthday, so it was a great event. Also, I met my friend Gilad Karni, violist, and many musicians that I just... Sergei Ostrovsky, also a good friend and a colleague. It's a great time. It's a great time to get together.
You would recommend it to whom? Would you recommend it?
I would recommend it to all young musicians, string players, especially violinists, and I think it's a great place to come in order to get really to widen its experience and to meet different points of view on violin playing, on music, and to study hard, because there's always an option to play concerts practically every day. There's a student concert, so there's an opportunity to play lots of repertoire and to study it during the master class. And the atmosphere at the same time being very friendly, but at the same time it's also very competitive because the level is high, and I think for most of them it's also great motivation to work and to continue the self-perfection.
About you and your background, about your parents and the next generation. You said also about your wife.
Yes. I come from not only music family but also violinist family. Both of my parents, my father and my mother, they were violinists. My father used to work in major orchestras. He was a great orchestra player, and also at the later part of his life he became a director of many groups. He worked with Vladimir Spivakov as the...
Where, in Moscow?
Yes, in Moscow, because I come from Russia. And my father was a director of the famous Moscow Virtuosi Orchestra, with which in 1988 I first visited Israel. 88. And my mother was a fantastic soloist, the winner of several competitions. She was a laureate of Tchaikovsky competition in 58, the first Tchaikovsky competition.
What instrument?
Violin.
All violin?
In my family there were only violins. Then she was a laureate of Queen Elizabeth and Jacques Thibault competition in Paris. My sister, my older sister, also plays violin, and she teaches already for over 40 years in the United States. She's a great teacher. Now she's based in Denton, in Texas. So when I was born, I had no much choice. Yes, no much choice. You know, I heard only violin around me, so I asked my parents when I'm going to start the violin. And so from the age of 5, I was already studying. Then I also had kind of very lucky life and career, because I won also several competitions, Wieniawski, Queen Elizabeth, Tchaikovsky, and then I had a career as a soloist at the chamber music player. And then my second half of music life is dedicated to conducting, because I started conducting around year 2000, and then I continued this path. And my children are almost everybody violinists, almost musicians. I mean, everybody musicians. But my older daughter is the only one exception. She played a little bit piano and flute, but then finally she decided to become a doctor. So she's a psychiatrist and psychologist, and she works in Vienna. She lives in Vienna, in Austria. My son, Mark Bushkov, is a very famous violinist, also international star by now. And my younger daughter, as I mentioned, she takes part here in Keshet Eilon masterclass. But she is playing not only violin, but also she's a fantastic pianist. And tonight's concert, she's going to be featured both as violinist and pianist. And my wife is, she's a painter. She's an architect on her first profession, but now she's painting, and we were extremely privileged to see her paintings after being for 2 weeks in Keshet Eilon, and audience there. Concert yesterday, the Gala concert in Keshet Eilon, they were just admiring her paintings of the kibbutz.
So maybe we see you again.
Who knows? Who knows?